right, you bunch of yahoos, strap yourselves in for another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity.
In other words, shut up, sit up, and pay attention. And welcome back to another episode of Toxic Masculinity. We've got my co-host, the meanest, fiercest fighter in the world, Don the Predator Frye, and yours truly, Dan to be Severn here. We're from Toxic Masculinity. We're here to entertain you in a masculine kind of way, and the world could use a little bit more masculinity ingested into it. So we're here to entertain, offend, defend, anything and everything that we care to. And, if you get a little bit offended about it, your prerogative is to either watch or not. That is still a choice you have. Better take that choice now, because who knows the way this wacky world is going, you may not have a choice soon. So, but anyway, there, gentlemen, Tony, would you like to introduce our guest there? Tony is the voice behind the microphone, the all-knowing, all-being Tony Martinez. Are you there?
Well, Tony just passed that buck to me. He's over there making all kinds of hand signals and stuff.
Oh,
so
okay.
Because
alrighty.
This is my good friend for many years, Mr. David Hebler. I've known Dave since, well, at least the early 1980s. And his brother was actually my immediate superior in special forces when I was still in the military. And that's how I met Dave. And Dave's had a long career in martial arts, but what made him famous, so to speak, was the fact that he spent several years as the personal bodyguard to the king of rock and roll himself, Elvis Presley, and traveled with Elvis, was at concerts with Elvis, was at Graceland with Elvis, and has a whole long litany of fantastic stories about what it's like to be out on the road with the most famous rock star in the world.
Oh, you bet. Oh, Elvis the pelvis, you betcha.
San Diego.
Okay, I got to question this right now, because I mean, the way that you say this, what happened in San Diego?
You can't leave that hanging now.
Yeah, I gotta say.
Oh, jeez. All right, I'm going to tell you. I'm going to conflate two gigs in San Diego. First place, the police back then were not allowed to moonlight in San Diego, so we had to hire private security. And people call rent-a-cops. I don't like that term, by the way. They're good guys. They work hard, whatever. Anyhow, we hired these 4 private security guards for the gig. And we tell them, look, here's the deal. You take care of the stage, in front of the stage. If charging women get by you, try to stop them, but don't hurt nobody. Don't knock any woman. Don't hurt anybody. Let them go. They get to the stage. We'll take care of the stage. Don't worry about that. All right. And we were very clear about that. So episode 1, we're doing this gig down there, and it's going along pretty good. And this is rocking music going on. And Elvis, all of a sudden, looks up into the audience and sees the San Diego Chicken. The baseball team, the Padres in San Diego, had a mascot, and it was the San Diego Chicken. And this guy was funny as all get out. And I mean, he was really famous too. The guy was great. And Elvis is singing, and the chicken up in the audience is just rocking away, like crazy. And Elvis goes, stop singing. And he goes, it's a chicken. It's a fucking chicken. Like that. Well, one of those things, you had to be there. It was like hilarious. But what was funny about it is that Elvis would imitate this chicken for months after that. You'd go, with all that kind of crap. But anyway, the second episode, I'm standing there on the stage, and I see this girl jump up, and she's boogieing down the aisle, and I know she's going for it. So the security guy, he jumps out in front of her like this, making it like a snow angel, right? And she stops and hesitates for a second and then kicks the guy in the nuts just dead on.
Oh,
Bam!
oh.
Guy drops into a little ball, and I immediately fell in love. That's my kind of woman right there, boy. Anyhow, she's about 7 or 8 feet away from me, and I'm standing on the edge of the stage. And she hesitates. She doesn't know, quite what to do. So she starts to go again and sees me and stops.
And you know her move.
So I just wave at her and say, yeah, come on. And she starts to come forward, but she doesn't trust me, whatever. Anyhow, so I help her up on the stage, and she runs over and jumps on Elvis and gets the scarf and the kiss and all that stuff. And let Red took her off the stage from the other side, and that was it. But that was the story of San Diego.
But she
And the
knew
San
she knew how
Diego
to
chicken.
put the punting to the goalpost right there. Poof.
Oh, I love that woman. Gave me a ton of stuff.
Like the world's ugliest ring.
Yeah, that ring is in Graceland, by the way, right now.
Oh, that's in Graceland too now.
Yeah, it's probably worth $150,000, $200,000.
I would imagine, yeah. But
Yeah.
I can't imagine who would wear it other than Liberace.
Because
Liberace wanted to buy it from me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes a cloudy red, what is that, star ruby?
Yeah,
About as big as a duck egg.
It was 40 karat natural star ruby, surrounded by 14 diamonds that were very, very nice, by the way, all set in 18 karat gold. Thing weighed 5 ounces.
Well, Dan Severn will trade you an old t-shirt for it. Old gray one.
Don, you kind of did put the build up there. It was actually worn in so many different UFC matches. Now, come on, you gotta butter it up a little bit better than what you did there. Now, come on, just
Well, Elvis gave him that ring because he told him it was the world's ugliest ring.
I told him it was the gaudiest wing I ever saw.
Okay. Yeah, that's well, I mean, did you wear it for a little bit to at least
I wore it for years.
Did you really?
When I was a dealer in casinos, I used to wear it. And people would go, holy crap, what was that thing?
Okay,
But
now
it started
This is a segment of your life that we didn't talk about. You're a dealer also. So I again, when I was asking about, what games you like to play and stuff like that at the casinos, I didn't realize, because you're talking about these different percentages of what games are the best games to play and stuff like that. I think, man, this guy's he spent way too much time at these casinos right now, and now you say that you actually were a dealer. I did not know we covered that portion of it.
I have had a number of careers, actually, over my lifetime, and being a dealer and a pit boss is one of them. I also was an environmental test engineer for 12 years. And for 4 of those years, I test fired solid propellant rocket engines. I worked on shit that landed on the moon. And the technology today is like voodoo to me.
I was a crash test dummy for married men for 18 years. So I got the scores to prove it.
Well, Dave, I tell you what, you have lived an amazing life here so far. And again, I know we're just only scratching the surface here. Dave Hebler, and with 2 different books out. Book number 1, Elvis, What Happened? And then book number 2, The Elvis Experience, just 3 years ago. The website, www.thedavehebler.com. if you're interested in learning more about Dave and to acquire one of his autograph copies of his book. And I mean, what else what have we missed here? I mean, I know we've chatted for a while here, and I don't want to take up too much more of your time, but is there a great story to close on that would make sense here?
Well, there's the 5 years I spent with Jeff.
Uh-oh.
And I'll tell you what, I am not going to say a word about it because I'm going to let Jeff tell you all about, SOG.
Well, I want you to, because I was thinking about this earlier. The interesting trip when we went down to do the combination martial arts and shooting training for Cementos Mexicanos in Monterrey.
Oh yeah.
Where the one guy fell in love with your brother and the other guy, remember Octavio?
Yeah.
Who was so strong because he was so tense all the time. Dave leaned over and whispered in my ear, this guy would be the perfect advertisement for Charles Atlas's dynamic tension. But he could not move. I mean, literally, he was almost like a statue because he was just 100% tensed all the time, and he'd move like this. We're trying to get him to do some martial arts moves, and it's ridiculous, right?
Yeah.
I mean, why? I mean, did you ever ask him why he was like that? I mean, was he in pain or something like this, or was it? It sounds like he's doing isometrics. It sounds like some type of isometrics. Or just
he was doing isometrics 24/7.
Yeah,
unbelievable. And then there was this great big guy who took a shine to Dave's younger brother, who we call the Penguini in my book.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Dennis. I thought Dennis was going to have a heart attack.
Dennis, every time we were going to lunch or whatever, you'd look around and there'd be Dennis, and this guy'd have his arm around him.
Yeah.
Jeff, what's the name of your book there, Jeff?
Huh?
What's the name of your book, Jeff?
Vagabonds, Tourists in the Heart of Darkness.
Vagabonds.
That's a good book, by the way.
Your partner there claims to have read it.
Yeah, I got it. I haven't released it down yet.
And Dave's a character in it. He's briefly mentioned in a few chapters.
Yeah.
Okay. Repeat that title one more time. Vagabonds.
Vagabonds, Tourists in the Heart of Darkness. It's by me and Nick.
Tours in the Heart of Darkness?
Yes.
Vagabonds, Tours in the Heart of Darkness.
I heard that phrase, Tourists in the Heart of Darkness, from Mark Stein. And I said to myself, that describes my life right there. That's what I've been doing for the last 40 years. I've just been a tourist in the heart of darkness.
Well, when did you actually write this then, Jeff?
It's been out for about 13 or 14 months now. It came out last summer. Yeah. In either June or July. I don't remember which.
Okay.
So.
And then if people are interested in learning more about this,
available on Amazon. It's a
great book.
Hear that? That's the highest praise that I've ever gotten. The amazing Don Frye, handsome.
Yeah, you don't even have to be on the toilet to appreciate that book. Yeah. That book can be appreciated at the dinner table in bed.
Well, I have stories about Dave I can tell too,
Well, I mean, it's
one of my favorites was
do tell.
He also ran the international karate championships in Long Beach for a few years. And I was there with him one time. And it was when martial arts was just really becoming a popular phenomenon. Because you had, the TV show Kung Fu was on television, and Bruce Lee had just really made himself a huge superstar, and it was all that was going on. So I'm sitting next to Dave at the internationals, and he says, I said, Dave, you know more about this than anybody I've ever met or ever will meet. Been in the martial arts world forever. Who's the best? He said, well, I don't know if I can tell you who the best is. And I said, well, come on. I mean, you've seen everybody, you know everybody. And he said, well, Jeff, the two best I've ever seen in the ring in a controlled situation is Chuck Norris and Mike Stone. Well, you may not even remember this.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
And I said, really? And he goes, yeah. He said, but on the other hand, there ain't a martial artist in this building that would go out in the back alley with Fred Brewster. And I wound up becoming really close friends with Fred. In fact, I spent most of a week with him in California about 2 weeks ago. He's still going.
He's amazing. Isn't he?
I think he's 2 years older than you are.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's older than me.
And his wife is the same age as my son.
Rebecca?
Yeah. She and Russell are the same age.
Oh,
He's 10 years older than me, and she's the same age as my youngest child. It's an interesting, and it's been like 14 years now. It still works. It's incredible.
yeah. Yep.
Unbelievable. Yeah, I'll tell you what, unfortunately we lost Gene LaBelle, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. No.
Judo Gene, yeah.
He was great. He was fucking great. Phenomenal,
Yeah.
you know.
Yes, he was.
Yeah, it was.
Boy, talk about a pioneer.
Yeah,
He was doing it before anybody.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Well, he was the referee in the Antonio Inoki Muhammad Ali fight, you know.
Wow.
Back in 70 something, and you know, he's always been around, and he was awesome.
Yeah, well, there's all kinds of loose stories that I have no idea what the veracity of them is about him and Steven Seagal. I'm sure you've probably heard
Yeah.
of this. I don't know. It's somehow managed to turn Steven Seagal into Jerry Nadler for a brief period of time.
Well, that's not a far stretch, so you know. Wouldn't be hard.
Oh, yeah.
That concludes another episode of Toxic Masculinity. Hope that we entertained you a little bit here. If we offend you or in any aspects, well, you know, we still live in America where you have the right to watch us or not. So we'll take our chances when it comes to that. We're just Don Frye and myself. We're just a couple gentlemen that still identify as being men when we wake up in the morning. And we're going to let you know how we feel about things in our own wacky type of way. We had a couple phenomenal guests here this evening with Dave Hebler, who basically was a bodyguard for the ever so famous Elvis Presley. And I think, Jeff, it was you that actually brought this all together, right? The meeting between Tony, Don, and myself here. So we appreciate.
I gotta take the blame for that.
Yep.
Thank you for watching another episode of Dan and Don's Toxic Masculinity. You better like, subscribe, and share, or I'm going to come to your house.